Welcome, everyone. This is Keep Punching University. My name is Jim Gonsalves. I'm very happy to be hosting this from Laurelville, Louisiana. We do this every Monday night at 5:50 Central Time. We start about 6. Thank you all for joining us. Tonight is a special night. Mr. Daigle is going to share some thoughts on what we're all interested in if you want to build a business over time, and that's called leadership. Guess what? If you have one person in your business, you're a leader. So these things you'll hear tonight are from Kerry's vast experience. He's been involved in combat sports for over 50 years now, been with the Juice Plus Company along with his wife, Mickey, at the Presidential Marketing Director Plus position, Founders Award winners for the company. They really share a lot with us about their experience, and tonight is no exception. Kerry's going to share some thoughts on leadership, which I know we're all interested in. So, Kerry, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Well, I appreciate it. I had a keynote speaker tonight, and my keynote on the last minute had to pull out. And poor darling, she was just really nervous and afraid to speak. And so she pulled out. And I can relate to that from many years ago. First time that I spoke with the Juice Plus Company, it was called NSA at that time. I was nervous. And I didn't quite know what I was going to say when I got up, so I can understand that. So you guys got second choice, happened to be me. So I showed up. I had a couple of notes. I wrote some things down for tonight, and I want to kind of read them to you. I wrote this earlier today. This is your business, the Juice Plus business, the distributorship that you have with the company. You determine what's possible. You are the decision maker. So the key is to make decisions and ask good questions and take steps forward so that you can move forward, not backwards, but forward. And there's no rules here. You just be yourself and you work at your own pace. No one tells you when you have to go to work or when you don't. There's no rules. So in my opinion, to be really successful, you have to be really daring. You have to be bold, and you have to be transparent and true to yourself. Now, over the next 5 years, what do you really want to do? I want you to think about that for a minute. What do you really want to be? What do you really want to have? And where do you really want to go? If you have those answers to those questions and they're written down with specific dates and plans on how to get there to your answer, you're going to have some success. But until you write it down and you're committed to yourself, chances are you're not going to have a lot of success. I'm being very transparent. The best day of your life is the one on which you decide your life is your own and the business is yours. You control it. No apologies, no excuses, no one to lean on, rely on, or no one to blame. The gift of your business and your life is really yours. And this journey in Juice Plus is an amazing journey, and you alone are responsible for the success of that journey. You would think it's because of your team. Your team is very important because you have no business without them, but you alone are responsible for the success of your business and many times the success of your team. Your journey is going to be determined by the choices that you make moving forward. Your answers are determined by the questions you ask. Your destination is determined by the steps that you take. Your future is determined by what you do today. Exactly what you do today, each and every day. That's really important. Now, what I've done, I've got a little cheat slip here on Mickey's iPad, and I've written down some quotes that caught my attention Not necessarily the quotes that I follow on a regular basis, but quotes that fit this business that I happen to be reading and looking at in different books over the last 2 days. I wanted to be able to give you those quotes. And if I have the author, I'll tell you who the author is of the quote. And I'll give you my thoughts on what that quote will mean for you and your business. The very first quote is this, and I don't know who the author of this one is, but I saw it the other day in a book, one of the books that I was reading. I think it's called Leadership. And it says, never tell me the sky is the limit when there are footprints on the moon. Wow. What does that mean? That means that you need to believe the impossible. A vision is where you aspire to be in the future. See, many people have sight, but many don't have vision. There's a big difference there. Vision is being able to see ahead of yourself. Where are you headed? Is it written, or your plans written down so you can move forward? Here's a good one by Bill Hybels. Now, Bill's had a lot of great quotes over the years, and you can look him up on Google if you want to. He says, the mentor is the organization's top strategist, systematically envisioning the future and specifically mapping out how to get there. Who are your mentors? What's real important, and a lot of people are where they're misjudging, is that they're listening to different people telling them this is the group to go after. This is a female's business. No, it's a human's business. Any human could join, male or female. People says, what race? The human race. Anybody in the human race fits. There's no race, only one race in this world. It's called the human race. So mentors are really important. Is it older people? Oh, no, I heard the other day you only need the younger group in your business. No, older people become the mentors. They have the experience. They teach the younger generation to move forward. So you have to have mentors with experience that can help you move forward. And yet you have to have the younger generation with the power and the energy that are excited and are looking to move ahead in life. So the combination of all of them together is very important. But the question is this, who are your mentors? There's an old saying that I heard from one of my mentors a long time ago. Your income is going to be derived from the 5 people you hang around the most. So guess what? If the 5 people you hang around the most are broke, guess where you're headed? Think about that a minute. If the 5 people you hang around the most are making 25 or 30,000 a year, they cannot teach you how to make 100,000 a year. They haven't gone there. But if you have your 5 people that you're around the most are making 100,000 a year, or 80,000 or 90,000 or in that vicinity, you have a good chance of learning how to get to that place. So think about it. 300,000 a year mentors, guess what you learn? How to be able to put yourself in those positions. Those were very important concepts that I had earlier in life that my mentors taught me. And I immediately started changing the 5 people I hung around with the most. Here's a good one. Well, before I go any further with that, I wrote this down too. Let's do this. When we're talking about mentors, you have to ask yourself some fundamental questions. Here's one. Where do you want to be in the future? We talked about that earlier when I first came on to Zoom. Number 2, what do you need to survive short term? What do you need to survive short term? Number 3, what barriers exist for you to overcome? What barriers exist for you to overcome? Now keep in mind that you're going to have some obstacles. What are obstacles? Obstacles are opportunities in disguise to test you to see if you really want success in life. They appear for a reason. Number 4, what are your strengths, not weaknesses? We as leaders say, let me work on that weakness of yours so that you can get better. The magic is here. The man above gave every human being on this planet different strengths. And your strength is what you should be working off of when you initially start this business. Whether it's being able to communicate with people. If you're an introvert, you're not a really good communicator. We need to find out what is your strength by us as leaders interviewing you or your prospect so that you know more about them. So if you called me today with a prospect and I asked you to write questions, what about their family? How many siblings do they have? How many sisters? How many brothers? What do they do? What do their parents do? Are they still here? Are they still alive? Are they still healthy? Where do you live? What's your professional background? Once I know those things, and once you know those things, you're going to be able to work off the strength of that individual. And that's what a magic is. Now, here's a good quote that I really like. You've heard a lot of times that knowledge is power. How many times have you heard that? Probably from many professors and teachers when you were in college or high school, when you were going to school. Knowledge is power. I beg to differ. I learned this from my mentors. Applied knowledge is power, not knowledge. Knowledge on ice will take you nowhere. You have to do something and you have to apply that knowledge. So what did you learn and what did you apply? That's the magic. So applied knowledge is really power. Henry Ford had a quote that went like this: coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Doesn't that fit our business just perfectly? I want to repeat that. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. See, our business is a business of inconvenience. To build a huge multi-million-dollar program, are you telling everyone what you know, or are you listening instead to what they want to learn and they want to hear? What are you doing? Our business is a business of inconvenience. I've seen many leaders say, I'm available only at these times. When your business, if you want to grow and have a substantial business that pays way more than you can ever imagine, you are going to have to be in a position of inconvenience. You're going to have to be available for that phone call at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 7 a.m., or 8 or 9 p.m., quite possibly. But if you're in a position where you're earning $500 to $1,000 a month, you don't need to be available all the time. That becomes a business of convenience, doesn't it? That's not a lot of people getting in touch with you. But if you want to build a massive organization, you're going to have to understand that your business is a business of inconvenience. David Jurgen says this. He says, a leader's role is to raise people's aspirations for what they can become and to release their energies so that they will try to get there. Wow, isn't that powerful? A leader's role is to raise people's aspirations for what they can become and to release their energies so that they will try to get there. See, the greats aren't always training and on the stage. They create trainers and leaders also. They make them the stars and put them on the stage. You see, that, my friend, is duplication in network marketing. So if you're the only one in your group that's always speaking and talking and training to your group, are you really bringing them to where they want to go? How are you going to build a massive organization if you're the only star? Our goal is to put people on that major stage, create champions, create leadership, get them up front, and get them to be the star, and watch them build a bigger organization. It's only common sense. Coming from a position of being a sports agent, I was never the one that had to be seen. I had to promote my athletes so they could be seen on national television and compete. And people would talk about them, name recognition. And then all of a sudden they become stars, they become more successful, and they become even more financially successful. That's key. And let's follow up with this quote from Nelson Mandela. He said this about a leader. A leader is like a shepherd. This is so powerful. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. Did you get that? What a real leader is? Where they're behind, just kind of shoving them forward, moving them forward. They're getting the limelight. That's magical. So I want to repeat that one again because it's probably the most precise and most powerful quote that I have for tonight. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead. The inexperienced, the ones that aren't sure, right? Whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. Wow. That's magical, and that's true leadership. Here's one from a guy you've been hearing a lot about because of the politics in the presidential race, Elon Musk. Elon Musk has got a great personality, and I'm not talking politics tonight. I'm just talking about a guy that's worth $200 billion, so I'm going to listen to him. I may not agree with everything he says, but I agree with probably 99.9% because I'm not worth $200 billion. He is. I'm paying attention. Elon Musk said, if you have fun at what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Listen to this. He says, make work like play and play like hell. I tell you, that's a really great quote. Because if you ever follow him and look at him, he's having fun in everything he does. Everything. He's having a blast. He's like a kid at work. How about this? You can tell who's doing well in this business because they are having fun, aren't they? And their people see it. So those of you that are having fun, your people will see that. They will duplicate you. Question is, who are you? What do they see? What do you see when you walk into the mirror? Are you smiling? Because if you're not smiling when you're in the mirror, chances are you're not smiling tonight either on this Zoom. A smile goes a long way because if you have people tuning in right now in your team and they see you, they either watching you to see how you're performing, to see if you're that interested in what's going on. So I applaud you for being here, but guess what? Be here. That's what's important. You've only got a few minutes. Play the game right. Put a smile on. Smiles are everything. Momo Daigle had a great quote. She said, when you see someone without a smile, give them yours. And I will tell you today, it opens up a lot of doors. How about Zig Ziglar? Here's Zig. Zig says, motivation is the fuel necessary to keep the human engine running. What are you doing to motivate yourself? I suggest read, read, and read. And I got to give a shout out to John Gorner. John, I know you're in because you're always tuning in. You don't miss anything. John Gorner bought me this book called The Way of the Champion. And John, I want you to know this. I read the whole book. I'm on doing it for the second time. because it's so powerful. I'm now reading it with a highlighter. This is absolutely, it's about champions, pain, persistence, and the path forward. You see, when you're able to really read and absorb, phenomenal things can happen. Now, keep this in mind too. I learned this from my mentors. If you quit reading, you've put yourself in the same category as someone that's illiterate, that cannot read. So if you quit reading, guess what? The person here that's illiterate, that cannot read, you just filled their shoes up, and now you're in that same category. I learned from my mentors how to read 24 books a year. Now you're thinking, man, people look at books and say, I can't read 24 books a year. Look how thick that book is, too much, because you're trying to read it all at one time. That's not the magic. Here's what my mentor taught me. Number one, read one chapter a day. You waking up in the morning, 15 minutes earlier, read one chapter. Late at night before going to bed, cut the boob tube off and take a look at a book, read one chapter. An average book has 15 chapters, average. So if you think about that a minute, one chapter a day, I didn't say a book a day, one chapter a day is 2 books a month, times 12 months is 24 books a year on the average. Anyone can do it. I remember him telling me this. Now, this guy was worth millions of dollars. And he told me, Kerry, you're not reading enough. I said, well, how do you know I'm not reading enough? You're not in my home. He said, I am today, and I just looked in your library. I saw nothing. Wow. You see, your library, I could walk into anyone's home today from what I learned from that mentor and know exactly what you're thinking, how you work, because I look for the libraries. I want to know what you're taking and what you're absorbing. What are you taking in? So I can understand who you are. Powerful information. This, again, is all information from mentors that are highly successful. It's not necessarily just for me. Now, here's the last quote from Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader says, the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. If everyone in your team is a follower, then evidently you need to relook at how you're leading, because your job is to create leadership. Not about, again, how many times you're on the tube. Who are you bringing on the tube with you? That's why we do Keep Punching University every Monday night. And we bring in people from all over the world so that they can get on stage and they can teach us so we can move forward. And then Saturday, we have a private organization, a private Zoom that we do strictly for the Keep Punching team. And it's not about us leading on that particular call. It's for us hosting it for someone in our organization so they can step forward, gain confidence, and be better. That's all I got for you tonight. I appreciate all of you. Keep punching. Good night. We'll see you in San Diego, I hope right around the corner. And for those of you that are tuned in tonight, listen, before we cut this recording off, don't cut it off right now. We've got a big event coming up tomorrow night. And I wish everybody could be there, but it's done. It's sold out. It's done. It's a new event recruiting people. Get out there and start recruiting and bring a new person in and see what happens to your business when you got that fresh face. Front line to you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great night. Keep punching.
Kerry, thank you for what you shared. You've inspired us all. I know you asked, what does it take to motivate us? Motivating ourselves, and those things you share with us are all good tips to go out and apply for ourselves. Folks, thank you for being with us tonight. We're going to go ahead and cut off the recording, Mickey.